And you'll notice that there's various pressures and things that all young ones have to deal with, and it's no different from these two here. And young ones pay special attention to see if we can learn anything of how we can remain or put Jehovah first in our life. So first off, we're going to talk to Christian Jones. Now he's in the Argon congregation in Sacramento. Now Christian's currently attending his last year in high school. And because of his wanting to live by his Bible-trained conscience, school has brought along some challenging circumstances. So Christian, can you explain some of the pressures that you faced?
Sure, it's just the environment that are constantly around you. The pressure to date, the pressure to be involved in after-school sports and alcohol and drug use. It can really take a toll on you because oftentimes you just feel like the odd man out.
I think we can all understand that, Christian. There was one form of peer pressure that one day really seemed appealing to you. It really challenged your Bible-trained conscience. Could you share that with us?
Sure, it was during Valentine's Day, and this very attractive girl, she really wanted to be my Valentine. And she kept asking why I hadn't bought her flowers or candy or anything. And even though that seemed very appealing to me, I told her that I wasn't interested in doing that.
So she wanted you to buy the candy and the flowers? I don't know about that. No, I think we can all understand how that could have been difficult, Christian. But even though in this difficult situation where there was a big part of you, like you admitted, that wanted to be a part of this, how were you able to resist, to bear up, to keep your faith?
Well, I always think that, what Jehovah would think if I made that decision and how he would feel about it. So even though it was tough, I know his standards of dating and courtship, and most importantly, why he has those standards for us. And even though it was tough, I, persevered through that. And then also, peer pressure can be strong, but I always remind myself that even though peer pressure can be strong, that putting Jehovah first in my life is what will bring rich rewards.
Very good. That's really nice, Christian, because I think there's a lot of young ones that go through the same thing, so that's excellent. So there's some recent developments that's going to take place very soon, maybe even tomorrow, that we know that will certainly make Jehovah's heart rejoice. Could you share that with us?
Well, yes, tomorrow I'll be baptized in my symbol of dedication to always do Jehovah's will, even under grievous things.
Very good, Christian. Thank you very much. Now we're going to talk to Kiran. Now she's from the Arcade congregation in Sacramento, and she has a wonderful experience to share, how she was able to remain faithful to Jehovah, even though others around her were giving her a hard time for her Bible-based beliefs. So Kiran, we're going to set it up for the audience. You were at a table with your fellow students. It was a language arts lesson, and then some of the students began to talk about inappropriate things. So tell us, how did you handle that situation?
Well, they knew I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I reminded them that I was uncomfortable with what they were talking about because I was trying to live by my Bible-trained conscience.
Well, that's certainly commendable. So could you tell us what happened next?
Well, one boy in particular snapped, "We're tired of hearing about the Bible from you. That's all you ever talk about." Then he walked away. I looked at the other kids and said, "Wow, can you believe you just said that?" And then, surprisingly, they all said, "No, we agree. We're pretty tired of you talking about the Bible."
To all of us, that's a great thing. Well, no doubt that shocked you because you've obviously been doing this for some time, so no one likes to be ridiculed. So we want you to be honest. With that moment in time where that happened, how did you feel about preaching to your students again?
To be honest, I was really hurt. I really spent a lot of time talking to my schoolmates about Jehovah and what's in the Bible. And because they said that, I didn't want to preach to them again.
Yeah, I think all of us could understand that, at least initially. I think we've all been there. But Kiran, at that time when on that day, you didn't give up because you knew in your heart that it was the right thing to preach. So tell us how you fought through these negative feelings.
Well, as I said, I was pretty upset, and I told my mom about it that night. She helped me to appreciate that sometimes we'll have our faith tested, and sometimes it's hard to stand up for what we believe in. And really only very few people listen to the good news. Then she suggested that instead of focusing on the kids as a group, I should think of maybe one or two kids that I think would be interested and focus on them.
You know what? That's a pretty good plan. So when you implemented that, how did it turn out?
One girl that I had in mind that I thought would be interested wasn't interested. While another girl that I thought I was very interested, and we started a Bible study.
That's excellent. So Kiran, we were really able to pull through that tough situation, even for someone who's your age. So what ultimately have you learned that will help you to always make Jehovah's heart glad in the future?
I learned that obeying Jehovah is always the best thing, and even though we're different and we might be made fun of, Jehovah will always bless our efforts if we do what's right, and I found that to be a wonderful blessing.
Very good.